INFJ, I can understand this character very well in Tolkien's stories of Middle-earth. If you are an INFJ, then you will very likely resonate with her character as I do. So let's begin with the functions and examples of Galadriel's character, shall we? An INFJ's most dominant function in them is internal intuition. This symbolizes the ability to use foresight, see transformations of things yet to come, and their likely effects it will bring others. Internal intuition is the way that an INFJ perceives their inner world. It dictates the way that they store information and how they perceive that information. Galadriel is known for this ability on Middle-earth, which is why the Fellowship of the Ring traveled to Lothlorien to go see her to get more advice. Not only does she have the tool of the divination fountain to help her have visions, but she also has the gift of sight of things yet to come stored inside of her. We immediately see this ability in her when she tells them that Gandalf was once with the Fellowship, but now he is surrounded in mist, and she cannot see his mind because it is hidden from her when he fell into shadow after meeting the Balrog. She rejects Frodo's offer for the ring because she knows exactly what will happen if she took it. She says this, "And now at last it comes. You will give me the ring freely. In place of the Dark Lord, you will set up a queen, and I shall not be dark, but beautiful and terrible as the morning and the night, fair as the sea and the sun, and the snow upon the mountain, dreadful as the storm and the lightning, stronger than the foundations of the earth. All shall love me and despair." She also had the ability to see Frodo's transformation as a hero of Middle-earth from a little hobbit. She gives him the knowing look and says to him when he doubts himself, "Even the smallest person can change the course of the future." Galadriel is connected to the Valars that are connected to the Ainurs, that are ultimately connected to Eru Ilúvatar, the one who created Middle-earth. So her wisdom is something gathered from deep within her as the higher truth of the theme of Eru. She demonstrates also her ability to have foresight and keen internal intuition by saying this, "I will not give you counsel, saying do this or do that, for not in doing or contriving, nor in choosing between the course and another, can I avail, but only in knowing what was and is, and in part also what shall be." She knows she cannot influence anyone to take a certain path or to interfere, but she knows what is the most possible outcome of things yet to come. This is the gift of the internal intuition. We listen to the quiet and still voice inside that moves through the trees and twinkles through the stars. That voice inside that you all have too when needing advice. INFJs are just content enough in the world to just be still and listen to it enough, while others find more adventure elsewhere. Our inner world is rich, and that is the adventure all on its own. Galadriel seems to be content living in Lothlorien and guarding Middle-earth from her high tree tower, rather than out traveling the world. The next function of the INFJ is the external feeling. This is the second function that the INFJs most likely are to use when interacting with the outer world and is the filter through which they receive communication from the rest of the world. This is the confusing thing about her character as well as all INFJs. We have this introverted intuition where we enjoy being on our own, listening to our internal workings of our mind, but we find we love connecting to others in feeling and emotion. Galadriel is noted as the guardian of not only the elves, but of the entire Middle-earth. She sees all beings on Middle-earth as equal and deserving to be happy and not taken over by darkness. She makes sure that they are not threatened in any way. She does not mind overextending herself emotionally so to let the Fellowship know that she is with them in spirit, though not physically. For physically she cannot be there, but she gives them all a gift or a token to help them with courage and to support them. INFJs care about others, almost more than themselves at times. We wish to see the world thrive in a way that we wish to see ourselves thrive, if not more. Galadriel demonstrates this function more so in the books by giving, at the parting feast, each member of the fellowship a gift. As listed here, the elf stone for Aragorn, and a sheath for Aragorn as well. A golden belt for Boromir, and a silver belt for Merry and Pippin. A Galadriel bow, strung with elf hair and arrows for Legolas. A small gray wooden box with a silver rune G for Galadriel. Inside the box was earth from Galadriel's orchard. The box also contained a silver nut from a Melorn tree, the last east of the sea and the west of the mountains. This was a gift for Sam. And 3 strands of Galadriel's hair for Gimli, because he asked for it. And also, of course, the vial of Erendiel for Frodo, the light of the stars that would guide his way. As you can see, her extroverted feeling truly wishes to make each member of the fellowship feel cared for as a representative of the fair folk as the elf queen. Kissing Frodo on the head and making sure he had a wave goodbye from the Lothlorien boats, and smiling down at Gimli the dwarf when he looked sad, was all just little ways that we extroverted feelers let you know we keep you in our thoughts. Her next function is internal thinking. This is the 3rd function, and the internal thinking makes decisions based on logic and operates internally. This function can help you fully understand the connections that you make outside of the consciousness realm. Galadriel, no doubt, comes off more logical rather than a dreamy character, which other internal intuitives can have. This gives her an intimidating appearance outwardly as the White Witch to others, and at first to those who don't know her, she may seem to be a bit stern or off-putting and even aloof. She can be stern and a calculating figure, showing she has thought things through first systematically before jumping in with action. She often shows this in her use of her keen discernment between things, and here you can see it between the magic of the elves and the magic of humans. Here is a quote from the Fellowship of the Rings. "For this is what your folk would call magic, I believe, though I do not understand clearly what they mean, as they seem also to use the same word of the deceits of the enemy." She takes clear account of her elfin magic being something more natural and less vague for interpretation of dark or light as humans' magic can be. She also says in the book that it was her who first summoned the White Council as a logical, systematic approach to help provide harmony and peace on Middle-earth, and guidance for whoever needs it. She also can use deductive reasoning to let the fellowship know that as long as the party remains true to one another, it will succeed. Here we see how she gathers pieces of data together and examines them logically and connects abstract ideas together. The last function in her is the external sensing. Extraverted sensing deals primarily with experiencing and perceiving the outside world in the present moment. Extroverted sensors see, feel, touch, smell, and listen to everything that is going on in the external world. This being the least dominant function in the INFJ, it can create an interesting balance of the internal intuition that seems to be so in connection with the realms of consciousness. Experiencing the physical world does not always matter as much. Galadriel can live in the trees of Lothlorien and still have a deeper sense of what is going on in Middle-earth. Why? Because she shows she can gain information from observing the world through her external sensor. As she says here, "The world is changed. I feel it in the water. I feel it in the earth. I smell it in the air. Much that once was is lost, for none now live who remember it." External sensor users are skilled at adapting to their external environments and noticing details in their surroundings, such as when the air and water give off signs of changes. Galadriel also is interested in maintaining the aesthetically pleasing environment of the Elven realms through using the Ring of Power of Nenya, her water ring. She casts Lothlorien in a beautiful but well-protected shield from enemies. And external sensors are also very good at sizing situations and people up. Not by emotional judgment, but rather evidence, body language, on different types of cues that we take in, and noticing small details in the present moment time. Looking for clues or evidence of the external world to offer practical implications of truth. All of these functions of the INFJ form Galadriel's insightful and warm character, but someone you also don't want to mess with as a cunning foe to fear if you try to hurt others on Middle-earth.